There's some serious concerns this morning about the flare-up of violent attacks across the Israel-Gaza border. The attacks, which were triggered by a botched Israeli undercover raid into Hamas-ruled Gaza late Sunday, marked the most serious escalation since an Israeli-Hamas war in 2014. Gaza militants fired dozens of rockets at southern Israel earlier today and warned they would escalate their attacks if Israel continues bombing targets in the Gaza Strip. Israel has hit more than 100 targets it says are linked to militants in Gaza. International mediators have appealed for restraint, hoping to avert another war. To continue this conversation, Danielle Smith from 770 CHQR joins us this morning. Danielle, a scary situation. How big is this threat, this back and forth?
It is scary. I think especially since this region had been in relative peace for the last 5 years. The last time we'd seen this kind of exchange of fire was back in 2014. And to put it into context, in this past 24 hours, this has been the most rockets that have been fired across the border from Gaza into Israel in the history of the dispute in the region. So I'd rather hope that the Trump administration's new approach in trying to reset in this region was going to have some positive outcome. But it does also show that Iran remains a major negative influence. Iran is the biggest funder of Hamas, and Hamas is who's responsible for this latest skirmish. This is part of the reason why Trump has said, hey, look, you only got a partial deal on the issue of your nuclear program. You're still acting as a bad actor in this region by funding rogue elements and terrorist elements who want to wipe out Israel. So I think we're back to where we've been in the past. And I'll be watching it and talking to analysts today to see what the path forward might be.
Do you think those analysts think that Donald Trump is the right person, that the United States are the right person to be on this because of the background between Iran and the United States? Is there a third-party country that really needs to step up?
It's pretty tricky. I mean, the sanctions just came in a few days ago, and we did see that there have been exceptions for the oil ban on the 8 major trading partners. I don't know if they could be brought in to have a bit more influence on Iran. Donald Trump is clearly the most pro-Israel president that the U.S. has ever seen, and so it could well be that he's not perceived to be a fair arbiter because he's chosen a side. He wants to see the continued existence of Israel. Iran doesn't, and so this is I don't know if you can mediate between those two extremes. Obviously, there needs to be some additional deal that is done with Iran to rein them in, and it's part of why you're seeing the U.S. strategy take shape in the region, where they're aligning with Saudi Arabia, as troubled a regime as that is to be an ally with, and other Sunni nations, because they at least recognize Israel's right to exist and want to move forward in a constructive way. This is kind of a holdover of some of the hostilities of the past. And so sadly, we're kind of right back where we were a number of years ago.
And the conversation continues. It continues today on your show, Danielle. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
9:30 to 12:30, weekdays on 770 CHQR.